All right, Manya. So today, as you know, we are going to start with the circles. So we had already covered few things in the last class. So let me first draw the circle and let us cover the basic things, of course. So you know that this is a circle. It's a closed shape. It has how many line segments? No line segments. It is made up of the curved, like part, you can say, or it is made of the curved angles, you can say. So it is a circle, right? Okay. Now you know that the boundary of the circle is called the circumference and the space inside the circle is called area, right? Okay. We had done some more things in the last class, and that was about what is this point called? It is called the center of the circle. So this point O is called the center of the circle. As I information about the circle, and then only you'll be able to do the NCRT questions of chapter 10. So O is the center of the circle. If I just draw a line segment between, of course, the center of the circle and any part or any point on the circumference of the circle, that will become the radius. So what is OA here? OA is the radius, right? Next, if you draw exactly one opposite radius, okay, to this OA, it will become a diameter. So this BA will become diameter. Now we had already understood one thing in the last class, that there is a relation between the diameter and radius of a circle, which is nothing but, of course, D is equal to 2R. And it is very clear that diameter is 2R only. Diameter is the double of the radius. If this is R, this is R, right? So what is AB? AB is your OA plus OB, right? If you talk about this AB or BA, whatever you want to write on, it is made up of two parts, right? OA and OB. And what is OA? It's R. What is OB? It's R. What is R plus R? 2R. What is AB? AB is nothing but the diameter of the circle. So diameter is equal to 2R. This is the relation we have got. Okay. How many radii are possible? You know that the plural of the radius is radii. How many radii are possible in a circle? Infinitely many. Okay, how many radii can you draw? You can draw infinitely many radii. Similarly, how many diameter can you draw? Infinitely many. Okay, so infinite diameters and infinite radii. Now, diameter is equal to 2r, right? So from this formula, this is your first formula from the circle that you have got. So if you have the diameter is equal to this formula 2r, then from this formula you can solve a lot of simple and the very basic questions. For example, if radius is given 4 centimeter, then what is diameter? What will be the answer? It's very simple. You will simply use the formula diameter is equal to 2r. So that is 2 times 4, which is 8. So the answer is 8 centimeter. So this is one way, right? Maybe the radius is given, you have to find out the diameter. At any point, if you feel like there is any doubt, Manya, let me know in the chat box, okay? Second question, imagine the diameter is given. And then from diameter, we have to find out the radius. So you can notice one thing, that from this formula only, what will be the value of radius? Will the radius not be diameter by 2? Of course, 2 is getting multiplied here. So if you shift 2 to the other side, it will get divided. So there is another formula also. To find the diameter, you just multiply the radius by 2, you will get the diameter. To find the radius, you just divide the diameter by 2, you will get the answer. So here in the second question, you have diameter is equal to 10 centimeters. So what is the radius? You don't even have to learn this formula, Manya. You can just remember it, that you already know that diameter is equal to 2r. Okay, so you don't have to remember the second formula. Diameter is 10, so it's 10 is equal to 2r. You have to find out r. Of course, 2 you will shift to the other side. So it will become 10 divided by 2, which is, of course, 5. So the answer is 5 centimeters. I hope this is very clear. And these two questions are based on just the formula, or you can say the relation between the diameter and radius. Okay, this is clear, I guess. Let's go to the next basic information, more parts of a circle. There are many more parts that you should know. So let us cover that now. So this is a circle, right? And you know that this is a circumference, right? This is called circumference. Next. If you take any small part of a circumference, right? For example, let us say that you're taking a part from here to here, just this part. That means you're taking a point, like a part of a circumference from, let's say, A to C. That means you have kept a point here, and then you have kept a point here, and then you're talking about just this part. So do you know that the part of a circumference is called an arc? Okay, so arc, how do we write? We write on, see, if you'll just write on AC, it feels like it is a straight line, but of course you can see that it is a curved line. So there is a symbol also that we draw, which looks like an arc only, right? So AC, and what is this called? It is called an arc of the circle. Okay, please write it down also, Manya, if you want to write it down, because this is very important. Okay. So any part, okay, any part on the circumference, of course, of a circle, or any part of the circumference is called an arc, right? Now you can notice one thing, that if you have written this as AC, which is like this arc, there is another arc also which you can see is being formed, which is this arc. This is another arc, right? So this is also, say, imagine that you are first standing at point A, and then you are going to point C, then you are covering this arc, right? But imagine if you are standing on A only, and you are not covering that part, but you are covering this part. That means the the other part, right? That is also called an arc only. Then how will you differentiate between the blue arc and this rainbow arc? So that is why we have the names, okay? And that is called as minor arc and major arc, right? So it's very clear that arc are of two types, minor arc and major arc. Minor arc is the smaller one. That means this is called minor arc. So you'll write on minor arc. Okay, you'll just write on minor, and then you'll write on AC, and then you'll draw the symbol. That represents that you're talking about this arc only. Okay, this arc. Next, if you want to talk about major arc, you just have to write down the word major, and then you have to write down the arc, which is AC, and then the symbol. Then it is very obvious that you're talking about the bigger one arc. I hope this is clear. This is the concept of arc. Arc is a part of the circle, or you can say part of the circumference. And there are two types of arc, minor arc and major arc. Right? If I just erase everything and if I just draw it once again, just to make you understand. So you have a circle. You have, of course, a point here and one point here. Okay, 1 second. Yeah, 1 point here and 1 point here. Then this will be called a minor arc. Just a moment, my screen got stopped. Let me reshare. Yes. So you can see here that suppose this is a point A, and suppose this is a point, let's say C, right? So this arc, okay, this part will be called, or of course, this line I'm talking about, this is called a minor arc AC, and the other part, okay, this part will be called AC only, but the major arc. And the symbol is, of course, you can see, just write down AC and then put a curved line. That's it. This is about arc. Let us go to the next part now. If you want to take a screenshot, you can take a screenshot. Now we'll go to the next part of a circle. For that, again, I have to draw a circle. And now I'm just going to draw something. So this is the center of the circle, which is, let's write on O. I'm taking one point here on the circle, which I'm writing as A. And I'm taking this point, which I'm writing as B. Now, of course, you can say that this is the minor arc, because of course it is smaller, right? So this is your minor arc, right? Now, this will be, if you join O and A, this will become the radius of the circle. And even if you join this, it will become the radius of the circle only. So what is OA? Radius. What is OB? Radius. And then you also have an arc. So do you see that you are getting one space which is formed by two radii and a minor arc? Do you know that this is called as sector? Okay. So what is this AOB called? This AOB is called a sector. Now, what is sector? Sector is made by, or you can say, the space or the area between, the space between two radii, okay, two radii and an arc. That is called as sector. Now, there is another information. Of course, you can notice that if this is a sector, you can also notice that if I talk about the same radius OA and the same radius OB, but this time I'm not talking about the minor arc, but the major arc. So you can notice that there is another part also that is being formed, which I'm coloring with the green color. So there is another part also, and this is also the area between the two radii and the arc only, but this time it is the area between the two radii and the major arc. So this is also called a sector, but to differentiate it, we will name this as minor sector and major sector. So this one, okay, the yellow one is actually called the minor sector, and the green one is called the major sector. Okay, this one is called the major sector. So here AOB, which is the space between the two radii, and instead of writing just an arc, you can say the space between two radii and the minor arc. This will be called not just sector, but minor sector. Okay, and the same thing AOB with the major sector also. There is major sector also being formed. What is major sector? Major sector is, of course, the green part. So I'm coloring this with the green. And the minor is the yellow one. So I'm covering this with the yellow. Okay. Yes, this is minor sector. This is major sector. Now, what will be major sector? Same thing. The space between the two radii and the major arc. Okay, this is minor. Yeah. Space between two radii and major arc is called as major sector. So we have covered how many things? We have covered arc. Then we covered two types of arc, minor arc and major arc. Then we covered sector. What is the meaning of sector? It's in general the space between the two radii and the arc. But of course, if it is the space between the two radii and the minor arc, that will be called as the minor segment, right? So this will be called as the minor sector, right? So this space is made by the two radii and the minor arc. So this part is called as minor sector. Now there is another thing that these are the two radii and this is the major arc. So the space between this is, of course, is called as the major sector. I hope this is clear, Manya. So let me know also in between in the chat box whether you are understanding everything or not. Okay. If you have understood this, we can go to the next part. Okay. So yes, all right, great. So now let's go to the next part. So you have understood this also. Now we will understand the next thing. To understand the next thing, you should understand one thing about the diameter and one more thing. So for that, again, I'll draw a circle. So, Manya, if I have a center of a circle, and if I draw any line passing to any line segment passing through the center, will that not be called as the diameter? Of course, that will be called as the diameter. So this is the diameter. This is also the diameter. This is also a diameter. This is also a diameter, and all are diameters only, right? What if I draw one line which is not passing through the center? For example, suppose I'm drawing a line like this. Is it passing through the center? It is not passing through the center. Then what are such lines called? For example, AB, for example, CD. Such lines are called, here I am just writing A, B, C, D. These are called chords. Okay. So what is chord? You can say chord is a line segment between any 2 points on the circumference of a circle. So you can draw a lot of chords, right? For example, if you want, you can take a point here, E, you can take a point here, F. If you draw this line, it will be also a chord. So how many chords you can draw? Same way you can draw infinitely many chords, okay? So I hope chord is clear, right? What is chord? Chord is all the line segments which you can see is passing through, without crossing the center. But when it crosses the center, it is no longer a chord, it becomes a diameter. But actually it is also called a chord only, but this is called as the longest chord. And the longest chord in a circle has a name which we call as a diameter. So it does not mean that if a line segment is passing through the center of the circle, it is not a chord. It is also a chord. In fact, it is the longest chord, and that is called as diameter. Okay. But what if I talk about, of course, any line segment which is not passing through the center of the circle? That will be called as a chord. Okay, I hope this is clear. Let's go to the next thing. Now you'll be understanding the next one because you have understood about the chord. So for that, I'll be drawing another circle. So we have circle. Okay. Now, what is this called? This is called as the chord of a circle, right? And of course, this is the center of a circle. Also, if you notice, Manya, this is an arc of a circle, right? In fact, you can say that this is your minor arc. If this is your minor arc, which is the major arc, this will be your major arc. The blue one will be your major arc, and the rainbow color is your minor arc. Now, the space between, okay, it has just taken the shape. I just remove it. So, the space between the chord and an arc is called as segment. So what is segment? See, there are so many things, if without learning all these things, we cannot start with the topic. So that is why I'm just making you understand all the basic things. Segment is the area or the space between the chord of a circle, between the chord and an arc of a circle. And an arc. Okay. So for example, here, of course, you can see that AB is the chord, right? AB is the chord and AB arc is also there. And there is, of course, a space between them, which is this one, right? So this space is called as the segment. Now, of course, there are two types of segment also. Two types of segment is, one is called minor segment. Okay, one second. Yes, one is called minor segment and another is called major segment. And now I think it's very clear. You can clearly say that what will be minor segment and what will be major segment. Minor segment will be that area which is made by the chord and the minor arc of a circle. For example, if you can notice here, let me first erase this. Okay, I think it's not getting erased. So you can see that this is an arc of a circle, right? This is in fact a minor arc. And this is your chord of a circle. So this space that you can see, which is between the minor arc and the chord will be called as the minor segment. Okay, and what will be major segment? Of course, you can notice here that major segment also is being formed, which is nothing but the chord AB and the major RKB. Okay, now, there are so many things that the screen keeps getting stopped, but anyway, let me reshare the screen again. Okay, yeah, things got erased. No worries, I'll just write it quickly. Okay, so this was minor. Okay. So of course, we have two types of segment. One is called minor segment and another is called major segment. What is minor segment and what is major segment? Let us understand. You have remember segment. What is the meaning of segment? Segment meaning the space between the chord and an arc. But if the space is in between the chord and the minor arc, that will become the minor segment. For example, if this is a chord AB, and this is of course the rainbow part is an arc, which is of course a minor arc. So the space between these two will be called as the minor segment. But there is another space also, which is between the same chord, but the major RKB. And this part will be called as the major segment. And that is it. So I hope you have understood these basic things about the circle. I'll just remind you once again. First, we started with, of course, the basic things like the radius, diameter, center of a circle. And then we started with an arc of a circle. What is an arc? It's just any part of a circumference, right? If that part is smaller than the other part, the smaller part will be called as the minor arc, and the bigger part will be called as the major arc. So that means there are two types of arc also. Next, we understood about the sector. What is sector? Sector is the area between, if I show you again, sector is the area between the two radii and the arc. See, sector, okay, here only. Sector is the area between two radii and an arc. That is called sector. But in sector also we have two types, minor sector and major sector. What is minor sector? Minor sector is that space, or you can say the space between the two radii and the minor arc will be called as a minor sector, and the space between the major arc and the two radii will be called as the major sector. Okay, I hope that is clear. Next, we understood about the chord. What is chord? Chord is any line segment joining any 2 points on the circumference of a circle. For example, if you have a point C here, if you have a point, let's say M here, then this will also become a chord. Okay. The one that will pass through the center of a circle is, of course, that it is called a diameter, but that is also called as the longest chord of a circle. So diameter is nothing but called the longest chord. Next, we understood about that of course, when you have drawn a chord, Manya, you can see that you are getting some space. It is being divided into two parts, right? So the one that is the smaller is, like, the parts are called segment. The one that is smaller is called the minor segment, and the one that is bigger is called the major segment, right? What is minor segment? Let me just annotate here. Yeah. So the minor segment will be the area between the chord and the minor arc. This will be called as the minor segment. This is called a segment, but this will be called minor segment because it is the area between the chord and the minor arc. What is major segment? It is the area between the chord and the major arc of a circle. This part will be called as the major segment. That is the concept. Just let me know, Manya, if you have understood everything that I taught so far, yes or no. If you have understood, then we'll go to the next part. Yes, Manya, clear? Okay. Yes, okay. And yes, perfect. At any point, if you feel like it is something is not clear, please let me know. Okay. Now I'll be drawing three cases. Okay. One circle, another circle, and another circle. Okay. Now I also be drawing three lines. Okay. In the first case, a line here. In the second case, oh, 1 second. Okay. Yes. In the second case, the line is here. No, it is not coming. Just a moment. Yeah. And the third case, I'm just going to write down. Oh, I don't know what just happened. Let me draw the circle. And the line like this. Okay. And in the third case, the line is little different. The line is passing like this. Okay, perfect. So you can see that there are three cases. First case, Manya, is there is a circle and there is a line. Is it touching the circle? Not touching the circle. So this line will be called as a normal non-intersecting line because of course it is not getting intersected. So it is called non-intersecting line. Second case, of course, you can see that this line is touching the circle at 2 points, okay? And there is a difference between this line and the chord. You cannot say that it is a chord, right? Because what was chord? Chord was not going outside the circle, but this is going outside the circle also because chord was a line segment and this is a line here. So the line, if the line touches the circle at 2 points, then such line will be called as a secant. Secant, right? And the third case where you can of course see that there is a circle and the line is touching the circle at only 1 point, and such line is called a tangent. Tell me, is this very clear, Manya? We have three cases, one non-intersecting line, another secant, and another tangent, right? Okay. Next, we can go to we can solve some questions, okay? So to solve some questions, I'm just going to ask you, I'm just going to write down some question here on the screen and you can answer, okay? Please remember this, okay? Non-intersecting line, okay, it is line. And what is secant? Secant is the line which touches the circle at 2 points. And what is tangent? Tangent is like a line that touches the circle at only 1 point. So my first question is here for you. How many, okay, 1 second. How many tangents, how many tangents can you draw? How many tangents can you draw from a single point? I'll explain you. How many tangents can you draw from a single point? What exactly this question is saying, let me make you understand with the help of the diagram. So suppose you are having a circle and it is saying that how many tangents can pass or can you draw from a single point. Suppose I'm keeping a point here. Now through this point, how many tangents can you draw? The answer will be only one. Through this point, you can draw only one tangent. You cannot draw any other tangent except this. You will not say that, oh, we can draw like this also. This is also a tangent. No. From 1 point, there will be always a unique tangent that will go. Okay. If you will take any other point, for example, suppose you are taking another point here. Now from here, how many tangents you can draw? Again, one tangent. I hope you are understanding what I'm saying. That through just 1 point, two tangents will not pass. You take two different points, then another tangent you can draw. But just from 1 point, how many tangents can you draw? The answer is only one, a single tangent. Okay, so the answer I'm just writing here, only one tangent. Okay. Next question. How many tangents are parallel? Okay, these are some basic things that you should be knowing. So let us just cover those things. How many tangents are parallel? How many tangents are parallel on a single circle? On a single circle. I'll make you understand what exactly this question is asking you with the help of the diagram. So if I am having a circle, it simply asks, oh, this did not get converted. 1 second. Okay. I hope it will get converted. It is not getting converted. Okay. First of all, Manya, can you tell me what is the meaning of parallel line that you understand? Parallel line is the lines which will never ever meet, even if you extend it infinitely, right? That is the meaning of parallel, right? Now it is asking that how many parallel tangents, okay? How many tangents will you draw and that will be parallel to each other? That is the question, okay? So for that, okay, the screen keeps getting stopped. Let me reshare once again. Yes. Okay, I think my screen is now visible. Okay. You can see the screen, Manya? I think you can't. Okay, now I think you can see the screen. So how many tangents are parallel on a single circle? So suppose you have taken one point here. So through this point, how many tangents can you draw? Only one. So this is your one tangent. Now, except this, if you'll take any point here, do you think that if you draw a tangent, that will be parallel? Of course not. If you keep a point here, will that be parallel? No. Exactly opposite to it, if you take one more point and if you draw a tangent on it, then that is going to be, of course, parallel. So how many tangents are parallel on a single circle? Only two tangents. You cannot draw more than one pair of tangents and that will be parallel. Of course, only two tangents will be parallel, right? I hope this is clear. Manya, right? Okay. We have, of course, understood a lot of concepts, but I just want to tell you that all these concepts are extremely, extremely important in order to understand the questions of circle from NCERT. Okay. Next, let us understand the next part, which is, suppose you are having a circle. And on this circle, suppose you have a point inside the circle. Let's say the point is here. Will you be able to draw a tangent? The answer is no. Suppose you have a point on the circle. That means on the circumference. Will you be able to draw a tangent? The answer is yes. How many? Only one. Now, the next case is, imagine you are having a point outside the circle. Now, the question comes, how many tangents can you draw? Okay. And the answer would be very interesting, Manya. If you are having a point outside the circle, then you can draw two tangents. How? Let's see. You will draw one tangent like this, which is, of course, imagine passing through that point only. So I'll just shift the point a little bit. Okay. And there is another that you can draw, which is, of course, here. So you can notice that if you are having a point outside, now I'm going to draw that point. So if you are having a point outside the circle, so from that point, you can draw two tangents. Okay. Suppose I'm giving a name this as AP and this as PB. So you can draw how many tangents? You can draw two tangents I'll write down M here, okay? And this is A, B, C. Okay, both are BB. Let me change this. Yeah, AB, this is C, and this is the D. Okay. So if you are having a point inside the circle, then how many tangents can you draw? 0. If you're having a point on the circle, then how many tangents can you draw? Exactly 1. If you are having a point outside the circle, then you can draw 2 tangents. Okay. Now there is one property about the tangent that you should be knowing. That of course, suppose this tangent is meeting the circle at point L, which is this, and here it is meeting up at point M, let's say. Or because I have already written M here, so I'll just write down N here. Now, when you draw a radius, okay, of course, you know that this is called the radius. When you draw the radius on the tangent, that will always be perpendicular. Perpendicular meaning 90 degree. Now the question is, why are you understanding this? Because in the questions in NCERT book, there are so many questions where this concept is being used. So you should be knowing it, that if you're having a tangent, if you draw a radius on it, that will become perpendicular. That's a property, that's a theorem. Okay. Similarly, if you draw the radius here, this is also going to be perpendicular. So this is also going to be 90. Okay. Now another concept. If you take a scale, Manya, and if you measure the length of this tangent, that is from point M to N, and if you measure the distance from point M to L, you will notice that the length of the tangents would be same. So it would be Mn is equal to Ml. Okay. And if you draw a line here, okay, which is actually just crossing through the middle, then that implies that this angle will be equal to this angle and this angle will be equal to this angle. Right now, Manya, I'm just telling you all these things because when I'll solve the questions from NCERT, maybe in some questions I'll be using this concept. So you should not feel like, oh, where is this? How has this come, right? So that is why I'm just telling you, remember these things, that the length of the tangents are equal, the radius on the tangents are 90 degree. And if you draw a line here, and if these are tangents, then this angle, suppose this angle is, let's say, 30 degrees, okay? Then this angle will also be 30 degree only, okay? Suppose this angle is 80 degree, okay? Then this angle is 90 plus 30, 120, and 120 plus, it should be 60. Suppose this is 60 degree, then this is also 60 degree. That is what I just wanted you to know. I think this is clear, right, Manya? Everything is clear so far? I'll just remind you what I have done here. I just did one thing, okay? In the same thing, I have just taken a lot of concept. Okay, perfect. So suppose we have a tangent. Of course, we have a point here. So I can draw one tangent. And if I have a center of a circle here, and of course, this is called the radius of a circle, then remember, then this is going to be 90 degree. Okay, this is one theorem. So radii or radius of the circle always makes 90 degree with the tangent. Okay, so these are the basic things, Manya, that we have covered. Except this, there are two more things, which is how do we calculate the circumference of a circle? So circumference of a circle has a formula. I'll not be explaining you the formula because it will take another, a lot of time. So right now at the end, at the 11th hour, we do not have a lot of time to understand the formula. Just remember the formula that circumference of a circle is 2 pi r, where of course you know what is r, radius of the circle, where of course you know what is 2 is a number and pi is a pi, okay, which is either 22 by 7 or 3.14. There is also the area of a circle, right? I hope you are having no doubt in the circumference of a circle and in the area of a circle. Circumference is the boundary, which is suppose, of course, if I'm just using the yellow one, this is the, so if you want to find out the length of the boundary, that is called as the circumference and the formula is 2 pi. If you want to find out the area, which is nothing but the space inside the circle, that will be called as, of course, the area. So that I have covered with the green color. So I'm just writing here with the green color. And the formula is area of a circle is pi r square. That's it. So Manya, we have covered finally all the basic concepts of a circle. Now at the end, I'll be asking you all these questions one by one. Let's see how many questions you can answer. Okay. What do you have to do? Of course, your voice is not coming today. So I'm just going to ask you one by one. Just write down in the chat box, what is it? Okay. That's it. So you have a circle. Write down the answer in the chat box. What is this point O called? It's like we are doing a very nice revision of what we have done in the class. In this way, you can also remember all these small terms. So what is the point O called in a circle? Yes, Maya. O is called the. Are you writing in the chat box? Same. Oh, yes, very good. Center of the circle. Okay, next. What is this called? You can write in the chat box. So it's like, what is OA called? Radius of the circle. Perfect. So OA is called the radius. What is the plural of radius? Can you write down in the chat box? What is the plural of radius? Okay. Very good. It's radii, Manya, with double I. Okay, remember it. So OA is the radius, and the plural of radius is radii with the double I. Okay, so it's RADII. Okay, this is called the radius. Now, if I just write down, if I draw one opposite radius exactly to the radius that I had drawn, it will become a BA. Now, what is BA called? BA is called the yes. What will be BA called? It's like the double of the radius. Diameter. Very good. Diameter. Now, can you write down quickly in the chat box what is the formula to calculate diameter? What should I do? Diameter equals what to calculate the diameter? Or also I can say what is the relation between the diameter and radius. You can write down in the chat box. So today your voice is not coming. Otherwise it could be, it could have been, quite interactive class. I would be asking questions and you'd be answering it, but it's okay. So diameter is equal to 2r, right? That is what you can say. So this formula you can use to find out the diameter, and the same formula you can use to find out the radius. Just shift 2 to the other side and you'll get the answer. Next, let's go to the next part. For the next part, I'm just going to draw the circle and I'm going to mark the part and you just write down the answer in the chat box, okay? So you have the circle. Tell me, what is this called? What is this called? It is called an arc. Right, Manya? What is it called? It is called an arc. Right? Now tell me, what is this yellow arc called and what will be the green arc called? First, tell me what is yellow arc called. because arcs are of two types. So what is the yellow arc will be called and what is the green arc will be called? Yes, Mane. Any doubt in this? Will you be able to answer what is the yellow one is called? Remember a very important word in the basics of circles, minor and major. Very good. So the yellow one is called minor arc and the green one is called major arc. Good. Yes. Now, if I draw a center of a circle and if I join the two radii, OA and OB, then what is the shaded part called? First, tell me what is the shaded part called only. Don't tell me the time. Just tell me the shaded part. Sector. Very good. But you can see that there are two sectors which are being formed. This sector, which is between the two radii and the minor arc, and there is another sector which is formed between the two radii and the major arc. So what will be this called? It will be called the colorful part. That shaded part is called the minor sector, and this part, this complete red color, this will be called a major sector. I hope this is clear. See, we are just revising it so that you remember properly. Okay, remember it properly. So this is your major sector. Okay, that is the definition of a sector. Now let's go to the next part. I'm going to draw something, and again you have to give me the answer. What is it called? Oh, not this one, of course. I have to erase this and yes. So if I have a circle, tell me what is this called? Just answer this. What is this called? What is the line CD is named as? Chord. Very good. And what is the longest chord called? The longest chord, first of all, what is longest chord? Longest chord is that line segment which is touching the circle, okay, where whose end points are on the circumference of the circle only, but they are passing through the center. That will be called as the longest chord, which is our diameter. Now, this is a chord that is, of course, cool. Can you tell me what is the area or the space between the chord of a circle and the minor arc? That means I'm talking about this area. So, do you know what is this called? First of all, this space is called as segment, right? Very good. And this, which is the space between the chord and the minor arc, is called the minor segment. You can notice one thing, Manya, that this minor arc and major arc, they are doing a lot of things, right? Next, what is the space between the chord of a circle and the major arc CD? That will be called as major segment. I hope this is clear. The green one is called the major segment and the pink one, the red one is called the minor segment. Manya, everything is clear so far. This is major segment. And of course, that is called as minor segment. So if I change the color, okay, I'm not able to write down, but just I'm writing minor segment. Okay, at the end, Manya, we did the last concept about the circle and the lines. So if you have a circle and if you have a line which is not touching the circle at all, what will be this line called? Non-intersecting line. Correct? Next. Suppose you have a circle again, but this time it is cutting the circle at 2 points and it is also a line. It is not just getting, like over at the circumference, but it is going just outside the circle also. So this is not a chord, of course, right? So what is this called? Suppose I've given a name xy. So what will be xy called? Xy will be called as a secant, right? I hope it is clear. And then there is the last case, Manya, which is of course that you are having a circle and the line is passing through it to only one point. So that is called as the tangent. Okay. I hope this is clear. Through one point, how many tangents can you draw? Only one, not more than that. Okay. Next, if you are having a center of a circle and if you are having the radius of a circle, what will be the angle formed here? 90 degree. Always remember that. Next, if you are having, suppose, a point outside the circle, then how many tangents can be drawn? Two tangents. One is this. Of course, it is not going as a straight line. So one will be this. Oh, okay. It just everything got erased. Okay. One second. Okay, imagine that this is the center. So if you are able to draw a tangent like this, and this, of course, you can notice one thing, that the length of P to A and P to B would be same. And also, if you draw a line here, the angle made are equal. This angle will be equal to this angle. And of course, if this is the radius, then this angle will be also equal to this angle. That is it. All the basic concepts, Manya, of circle is covered. Now tell me, do you have any doubt? That is it for today. Okay.